another big show coming up is All in Texas.
Yeah.
I have a question about All in Texas for you.
Okay.
Mercedes Moné versus Toni Storm. Do you think it'll headline the show?
At this exact moment, I don't see how it doesn't. I mean, like, because let's see what happens, because I'm hearing there's some other rumors that I've heard that they might have Darby come in and somehow take that title shot from Page and I don't know. If it ends up being Darby versus Mox and he's going to win it, make that the main event. But if it's not, even if it's going to be Hangman beating him, I would think this is a bigger money match. Because, I mean, obviously Mercedes she's undefeated. She's the most pushed female in the history of that company. And I would say the second most is Toni. So when you get to the match itself,
it'll be good.
Mercedes, I think, oh, absolutely. It will be a good match, because what I always say about Mercedes is she is a good wrestler as long as her opponent is a good wrestler.
And Tony's
fantastic. Yeah. She's fantastic. I would hope that Toni would retain so that Mercedes could have something change in her story. Like, my hope, but this is long-term booking and they don't really do that in that company, is the entire reason that you're building her up the way they are of undefeated is so that she can then have that crazy downfall where she loses to Toni and then loses whatever those, one of them's the Owen belt. She's not going to lose that. But the other belt, she had 2 other belts that she's got, and then the TBS title, she loses all those, goes through some kind of character change and arc to then have a comeback story to then win the women's title. But I have a sneaking suspicion that she'll just play her Hogan card and
see,
Toni Storm.
I don't even think she has to play the Hogan card. I think I hate to say this, God damn, but I think it's natural that she actually wins.
Okay.
And then and Toni goes into a fucking tailspin, and she goes into a character flaw.
But she just recently did that, though. And
they'll be happy to do it again, because now now the gimmick
that's
is
fucking true.
It jumped the shark for me a little while ago, but maybe we can dial it down a little bit. I think Mercedes wins, and I'm okay with it, actually. Boy,
I mean, you're right to that point. My brain can't. I have to get into the mindset of how AEW books of that they can do the same thing again. Because, my first thought is, well, didn't Toni just do that with it? But you're right. They don't care.
Yeah.
I could see it. The problem is for me of like, when does Mercedes ever have any character change in evolution? Or is she just the belt collector, I guess? I don't know. For me, but I am biased because I have not liked really anything she's done in the company, aside from some of the matches have been enjoyable, but that's like that company's that could be like that company's tombstone, stories don't really matter, but the matches are sometimes fun. But like I want to sink my teeth into more, and that's I wouldn't say like a full sad Baron Corbin situation where she goes into the dumps or that, but some sort of character evolution. But
I think they've gotten to the point now where she can't lose.
Yeah,
she's already buried the whole division, so you might as well just keep it going.
She's already buried the whole.
It's like
division.
the Moxley thing. Just keep it going. Fuck it. Just keep going.
Yeah.
At this point, you're already done. So just
and really like. There was really, for me, only 2 answers to ever beat Moxley. And the number one is Darby, because Moxley took his title shot. And that's what I felt like it was being set up for. But then he decided to go climb Everest, which I know we all heard he reached the summit. Did he ever come down?
Yeah, he made it down.
All right, cool. Sweet. I'm glad to hear that. But the other option was Ospreay, just because he's the supposed future of the business, future of the company. They all glaze him, whatever. So if it's Mox versus Page, like Mox is just gonna continue along, and so
I don't. People are talking about Page bringing it back again. I don't think so. I just don't think so, because I think the obvious choice is Ospreay.
Yes,
he's the guy. He's younger. He's got something. I don't see it. I do see it, but I don't like it. How's that?
Here's the thing.
And I
see the talent and the potential to be a great wrestler, but he's not a wrestler. He just does spots and moves. And my number one saying, like, once we start making t-shirts, again, subscribe, share it with your friends. Once we hit the 500 subscriber mark, we'll start to do more with it. But like one of the things I want to put on a t-shirt, if they're not selling, I'm not buying. Like that's my main criticism of a lot of the wrestling in AEW. They just boom because they want to get everything in as opposed to making things special. And he's like the king of that, where he does every move in every match, usually more than once, and just doesn't. They don't let anything resonate. They don't let anything sell in that moment.
The question is on that then, are they just doing what they're told?
I mean, in the sense of like the booking wise of it, or in the matches?
Yeah.
I feel like the matches.
If Tony says to him, go out there and do it, you're going to do it. That's your boss.
Yeah, I don't think Tony's
I'm coming at this from a nice angle here, aren't I?
No, I like that. I love it. I don't think Tony's telling him like what moves to do.
What if they're just what they're told?
By who though? Like, is Tony telling him like, I want to see 3 hidden blades and 2 have a coronas and all that? I mean, maybe,
possibly.
I feel like it's more like
it's a general question.
Giving you 20 minutes. I think it's more they know that Tony wants that. He wants the bam, 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 bam wrestling, and he's giving everybody he gives everybody 18 to 25 minutes. If at minimum to do that on the pay-per-views and even on a lot of the Dynamites. And so I just think they're allowed to. I'm not sure if they're
if you're okay, you're I'm gonna take this to
awesome.
And I said, you got a match with Kyle Fletcher, you got 25 minutes. Do what you need to do. That's what he probably says.
I'm sure.
How are you supposed to fill 25 minutes then?
Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's where the agent should come in, but all we've ever heard is nobody listens to the agents. Nobody cares about that shit. Oh God. Yeah. No, you're and there's and you know what could help this? You know what could help solve a lot of that problem? A fucking production meeting. But who has those?
Well, now if you come at take it to another side of it. I'm Tony Khan, you're Will Ospreay, and I say, listen, Will, you got 15 minutes. Get together with Jerry Lynn and Kyle Fletcher and come up with something that's really compelling. That's a whole different ball.
And that's what they should be doing. But
because Jerry Lynn knows what he's doing. He's not being
absolutely. Oh no, we brought that up on our spaces yesterday about how long Jerry Lynn's been doing this and in how many different promotions, territories, whatever. No, Jerry Lynn's Jerry Lynn should be like the best agent there, but does anybody actually even use the agents? I really don't know.
Yeah, I wish we knew the inside. And how things actually work, because I don't know.
Yeah, well, and with Adam Page, I mean, he lost me way back whenever it was where he's like, oh no, I don't worry about taking advice from veterans. Like, no, F you, dude. Like, that's in any company, in any business, in any whatever, you should always try to listen to people who have done it before, but especially in the professional wrestling business. Like, that's the number one, like, what was it always? Ernie Ladd, he would come in and sit down with the chair, come down and sit under the learning tree, boy. Like, that's what he did, because you got to learn, and that's how you got better. Like, the best story is that whether it's Jim Cornette or from Tales from the Territories or any of those old wrestling stories or shoot interviews that you see, everybody says the best way to learn. I was young. I sat in the back seat of the car and listened to the veterans talk as we went from town to town.
Yeah, which they don't do anymore.
This is true.
No, which they don't do on the road anymore.
Right? No, absolutely. But at least do it in the building.
Yeah. So one strike there. So you can't do that anymore.
Yeah. No. But at least go into the building, ask questions, have somebody, hey, watch my match. Like Regal used to talk about it on the podcast that he did until he stopped doing that. Of like, I would come in, and if people wanted to talk to me, I was there to be asked. But sometimes I would just stand there, like, and that's the whole reason of why they need a PC and why they need to invest more into those. But Tony's got that mindset of the indie mindset that it's fine. We don't need that. We don't need super intricate stories. We just need great matches, but it just doesn't work for television, which is something you, my friend, have said pretty much from the beginning of not only from this show, but like the beginning of when we connected as friends of like, he doesn't know how to book television. Whether it's wrestling, whatever it is, it's not television.
Yeah, Hangman's first run as champ, I didn't mind. Like, he was over with the fans. People liked him. I kind of enjoyed it. I didn't really 100% love it, but I didn't mind it. It didn't offend me in any way.
I mean, the storyline getting there was good. What was good? There were parts of it that were a little silly with the too much silliness in the vignettes, but the idea of it was he had gotten down on himself. He had lost all of his friends. He was falling down, he was falling down the bottom of a bottle. Like, that was all good. And then it's funny you say that. The first AEW pay-per-view that I actually ordered and wanted to watch and pay for was that one. I wanted to see, they had that cool entrance with him on the horse going through. I think it was Minnesota. I feel like, maybe I'm wrong. But it was a really cool visual, the way it was done, and how he beat Omega, and the story behind them. That was great. Beyond that, I don't really remember it being it was fine, but I felt like that was the epitome of Toni, of being I've got a plan to get to here. What do we do after that? Oh, I don't fucking know. That's what I felt that was.
Recently I mentioned it because everyone's mentioning this resurgent arc story from Hangman then till Hangman now. And I have yet to connect that, but
ditto, 100%. I'm no, they've already done the redemption for him. This isn't, and I see them trying to get into it. It's my kid opened up presents on Christmas, and I'm looking out the window, and I see what they're trying to do, but it just feels like a shit rehash to me. You just didn't have what you didn't have. It's got no balls. It's there, but it's just got no oomph. It's kind of similar to him and Swerve of I'm lighting your house on fire. Whoa, what?
Yeah, now we're best friends.
Right.
I respect you for burning my house down.
Yeah, right. Not only my house, but my childhood home. Dude, you burned down my childhood home. We're not just gonna be cool later. Yeah. And that was the other thing, is I thought the storyline was going to lead to him and Swerve against the Bucks at All In. So that's the other reason I was totally surprised that he beat Ospreay. There's a multitude of reasons he shouldn't have beat him, but I thought that was why they were going for that. But fuck do I know?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it, but I expect Moxley to retain for some strange reason.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because Page isn't the guy. Like I said, if somehow they change it, but Page isn't the guy.
Neither is Darby's not the guy either. Ospreay's the guy. That's it.
I agree. But I see where the fans think Darby is the guy, and they set it up that way. But I agree. I always thought it was Ospreay. I thought it was Ospreay last year at All In.
Yeah.
But
as much as Ospreay looks like a goof, I can't get behind Darby. I respect Darby. He's a good dude. Seems like a really strange fellow, but whatever. But I can't get behind a guy that's 5'5" and 130 pounds as your world heavyweight champion. I can't do it.
Well, I could for Rey Mysterio when he was it, because he was a wrestler. He was doing wrestling moves and overcoming and barely winning. Darby just sacrifices his body. So it's just there's only so much that can work, and that just doesn't work for me as a world champion.
You can't do it.
Yeah. No, I completely agree.